Hello, welcome to HITC Sport. Alright, earlier this week, Cristiano Ronaldo was forced to listen to internet meatheads, i.e. men who haven't washed their armpits since 2008, call him a Juventus flop. And I already did a video on that earlier this week, proving exactly why these same people should probably be made to eat their dinner with a plastic knife and fork. Because I'm sorry, if you blame a club failing to win a competition they haven't won since 1996 on the 36-year-old scoring 30 goals a season, and he'll probably stick the fork in his goddamn eye. But anyway, since Juventus' Champions League exit to Porto, apparently Ronaldo is now destined to return to Real Madrid, right? Here's what Zidane had to say about the rumours.
Rumours about Ronaldo's return to Real Madrid are true. Yes, it could be. We know Cristiano, but he's a Juve player and now we have to honour this. He's playing for another club. Now let us see what the future will be.
Listen, don't get me wrong. I have the utmost respect for Ronaldo. I'll admit, when I was a kid, I was adamant that he was just some overrated show pony who would have been better suited juggling a ball on Britain's Got Talent. Good grace, his end product in 2005 honestly made most Manchester United fans feel like shoveling out their own eyes with a rolling pin. I remember when he signed in 2003, his name was just a novelty.
Oh, his name's Ronaldo! Isn't that cute? He'll never be as good as that one!
Lads, not only was he as good, he has completely redefined the name Ronaldo in football. When you say that name, you don't think of Nazario. Oh, by the way, lads, tune in on Sunday. Football Origins are back. Oh, while you're there, hit that subscribe button. 500,000, not too far away. Anyway, back into the video, let's go. And considering the other one was a World Cup winner, a legend of the 90s, then do you know how hard that is to do? To change the landscape of that famous worldwide name? It's a bit like some budding young 15-year-old tennis player called Simon Federer going on to become the Wimbledon GOAT. How unlikely is that? But lads, what he's done in his career, he's another freak, a goal-scoring machine, some sort of modern footballing cyborg. Imagine telling someone back when he was tripping over his own ankles and hadn't visited the dentist in a decade. Imagine telling someone then he'd end up scoring more times than Pele. Ridiculous. But lads, if the rumours are true and Real Madrid do want Ronaldo back, then I'm sorry, please, someone just chuck Florentino Perez into a local old folks home because clearly he's a danger to himself. Yes, Madrid haven't been the same since selling Ronaldo in 2018, but lads, you can't win the race against time or science. I know he's still an utter world star, but think about it, he turns 37 years old next season. If he returns to Madrid, he'll demand to be the highest paid player, because does anyone really think that a fella with 5 Ballon d'Ors, regardless of how old he is going to accept being paid less than an injury-prone, wet mess like Eden Hazard? I mean, Ronaldo gets up to take ice baths at 6 AM in the morning. Hazard probably frequents the Burger King drive-thru every day after training. Ronaldo has always said he wants to retire with dignity and that he plans to play until he's 40. And this is a guy whose name alone managed to convince Juventus to give a 4-year deal to a 33-year-old man. If he returns to Spain, then his gaggle of agents, lawyers, whoever, will bend the club over a table and demand at least a 3-year deal, which would take him to the brink of his 40s. Let's not forget, the pandemic hit Madrid like a runaway train. They've already lost £103 million so far this season. So in the midst of a financial crisis, what sort of brain-dead decision would it be to agree to pay a total sum of $54 million in wages for a guy inching towards retirement? Listen, Ronaldo's goals aren't slowing down, but I'm sorry, he's gonna burn out at some point. Yes, he's a world-class freak of nature, but you cannot cheat science. And I'm sorry, after 1,000 games of football and day in, day out, high levels of intense training for nearly 30 years of his life, right now his hamstrings are probably begging for mercy. This guy's not a robot, he has to burn out at some point. And Ronaldo, why go back to a club who disrespected you? You want to go out with dignity at the top. Lads, the worst thing he could do is let himself grow old at the Santiago Bernabeu. There's a guy who used to get booed by his own fans, even when he was scoring 50 goals a season and winning the Champions League every year. So what sort of reception do you think he'll get at 39 years of age when he's limping about like a constipated dog? This guy is Real Madrid's greatest ever footballer with 450 goals in just 438 games. He was better than Alfredo Di Stefano, and when he arrived, this club hadn't won a Champions League knockout round in half a decade. By the time he left, they'd lifted the thing 4 goddamn times. And does he get a statue outside the ground? No. Does he get any modicum of appreciation or respect? Real Madrid fans, they don't appreciate their players. So guys, Gareth Bale single-handedly won you a Champions League final with arguably the best goal ever seen in the competition, and you thank him by trying to kick his car to bits. Ronaldo left Real Madrid as Champions League winning king, and that's how he should be remembered at that club. Going out on top, not the pale shadow he will soon become. Because imagine the Champions League final swings around and Zidane tells him to go and sit on the bench. I actually think his shattered ego might actually drip out his nose. Real Madrid fans are mostly a bunch of self-loathing parasites who never really love their players. They tolerate their players as long as they win. A move to Real Madrid at 36 would be sheer lunacy. This guy should never sign for a club to sit on the bench. ever. It meant sitting down does not work well. But if Juventus persist with Andrea Pirlo, a guy who clearly has the managerial charisma of a squash banana, then I do think Ronaldo should quit Italy. Because I'm sorry, that team are 10 points behind Ashley Young. I'm sorry, but Ronaldo shouldn't be spending the final years of his glorious career stuffed in the same limp attack as Alvaro Morata. You know, the Spanish walking post box. I'm gonna say it, I think Ronaldo should return to Manchester United. He wants the perfect career. This is all about bringing his career to a dignified close. This is a proud champion of the sport who sneered at Xavi for choosing to shove cash up his nose in Qatar. So where do you go after 5 Ballon d'Ors, 5 Champions Leagues and 7 league titles scattered across 3 different countries? Oh yeah, and immortalizing himself as a Portuguese god on a pedestal even higher than Eusebio. Pretty simple. Spend your twilight years back at Old Trafford. Good Christ, those fans still sing your name, and that's 12 years after you left. You've scored against them in the Champions League twice, even pointing to your abs like a guy who probably tossed himself off in the mirror every night before bed. Honestly, portraying that sort of narcissistic behavior against the club that made you, that would usually turn those fans against you. I mean, look at Luis Suarez, one fist pump against Liverpool, and suddenly the lads at Anfield now want him drowned in a swamp. But lads, don't forget that this guy spent 2 years forcing his way out of your club, comparing himself to a goddamn slave in July 2008. Yeah, you all conveniently forget that, don't you? Lads, Manchester United's levels of unconditional love for this man. Honestly, he can return to Old Trafford and void his bowels on the pitch before crawling up the steps to punch Bobby Charlton in the face. It doesn't matter if they would still sing his name. But lads, they've been wanting him back for a while.
We get Ronaldo back, that's a word on the street in Manchester, that is it's
coming on.
Well, I've heard from a good source that it's a done deal.
I'm sorry, did he say source or sauce? Because this sounds like something you might have read on the back of a bottle of ketchup. This is in September 2014, 3 months after Ronaldo had lifted La Decima at 29 years of age. So, expecting him to trade that in, to instead scrap for top 4 under a footballing dinosaur like Louis van Gaal, swapping wings with Ashley Young every match, he'd probably rather eat his body weight in cat food. Let's not get it wrong. Almost from the second Ronaldo quit the club, they've been desperately trying to get him back. A bit like that divorced middle-aged man who won't let go.
David Moyes planned to sign Fabregas, Bale, Ronaldo and Cruz at Manchester United.
Lads, I would love to be a fly on the wall for David Moyes pitching a career proposal to Ronaldo, trying to convince one of the greatest players of all time to quit his dream Madrid move after just 4 years, to instead place his career in the hands of a guy who coached Leon Osman and Leighton Baines. Even Sir Alex Ferguson told Patrice Evra just before he left that he was 99% sure of Ronaldo's return that summer. I'm sorry, 99% sure. So a margin of 1% error. Those are the stats you'd say about the likelihood of Jonah Hill sweating on the toilet. 99% sure. Yeah, Fergie, was this a bit like when you said Phil Jones was going to be the next Bobby Charlton? He wasn't even the next Wes Brown. Apparently this was all agreed, that Ronaldo was ready to return. What, to an aging Man United team with Danny Welbeck up the front? About to give up on his Real Madrid of less than 200 games and 0 Champions League titles? Utter wet nonsense. Again, Louis van Gaal wanted him to, calling him a Manchester United target in November 2015. To be fair, the rumours did die a death as soon as Jose Mourinho came to town. Probably because it's one of football's worst kept secrets that the 2 biggest egos in Portuguese football cannot stand the sight of each other.
Ronaldo's uneducated, sneers Mourinho.
Yeah, there was probably more chance of Ronaldo eating 6 pairs of shoes than agreeing to ever work with Mourinho again. But now, why not? He already has a working relationship with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and his homecoming at Manchester United, once the fans are allowed back in, every home match would be like his own private concert. Just thousands of people gushing over his every touch. All 4 corners of the ground would be a shrine to this man, buffing up his egos with banners and flags, with his face all littered across the ground. His return would be like the campaigning for a presidential election. Chuck him in the same team as Bruno Fernandes, another guy who's also played in Sporting Lisbon and in Italy, and without a doubt, this fellow would probably be lifting the 2nd Premier League Golden Boot of his career. Even at 37, this man would still be sticking away 30 goals a season, and you might say,
Oh, it stunned the progress of Rashford.
are you kidding me? Stunned the pro? Can you imagine what it would do for Marcus Rashford? Growing up as a Ronaldo fanboy, to the extent that he clearly spent his entire childhood trying to recreate his knuckleball technique, putting him in the same attack as his utter idol. I'm convinced 2 seasons of playing alongside him, learning from arguably the most hard-working professional in sporting history, it would probably tip Rashford into the world-class category. Soon he'd probably start putting up the same numbers as Raheem Sterling. I know it's a lot of wages, but don't think for a second that Ed Woodward wouldn't agree to this. This is his virtual wet dream, a signing that will legitimize his entire reign at the club. Instead of having fat Mancunians on his lawn throwing bags of bird poo at his house, he'd forever be known as the guy who finally gave Ronaldo back to the fans. Get Ronaldo back on a 3-year deal and I guarantee you, his superstar presence at the club alone will galvanize the entire institution. And Ole Gunnar Solskjaer might actually just lift the Premier League title. So Ronaldo, please, stop wasting your time with Aaron Ramsey. Return to England and end your career the way it should be, being utterly appreciated and adored at one of the biggest footballing institutions on planet Earth. Lads, just imagine his retirement being applauded off by all four corners of the ground. Just 3 months after his 40th birthday, retiring as an immortalized living legend. And don't forget, this guy could realistically overtake Dennis Law to sit second behind Wayne Rooney in the all-time goal-scoring charts at Manchester United. He's only 50 goals behind. And considering he left this club at 24 years of age, only to return age 36, then managing to fit in nearly 200 goals for Man United, overtaking every single former player bar one to wind up record goal scorer for Real Madrid and second top goal scorer for Man United, arguably the two biggest footballing clubs on the earth. That would arguably be his most impressive achievement to date. Anyway, that's it. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think? Should Ronaldo go back to Man United? Let me know in the comments if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe, and as always, I'll talk to you in a while.